How's it going, YouTube? This is Sean coming from the Weidiger Stronghold. It's April 2021. I've got my garden all planted. We've got some great weather this weekend. So I'm getting planted up here. So I just wanted to go over what I got planted. I got another video that shows where I was at the end of the year. Kind of putting this together because not that I anticipate getting millions of likes, but really just for myself. I can kind of go back and see what I got. But if you are watching this, I appreciate it. And I'll have a couple more videos come out. Like I said, I'm no expert at anything at all. I'm pretty good at a lot of stuff, but not, like I said, an expert at anything in particular. So this is what I did. We'll start over here. So I started, we did some yellow squash, something we didn't do last year. Oh, that's Cooper, by the way. You'll hear him jangling around. Got some yellow squash. We didn't do that last year, but we did do zucchini, so kind of in the same vein. So we got that planted. I did it a little bit different. So my zucchini's there. Last year I had it over here and I planted way too much of it on top of each other. So I got a really good yield, but I just had too much. Everything was kind of on top of each other. So I think I could have got a better yield out of less plants. So I did the mound technique over there. So I got 3 mounds with some seeds in it. And once they start popping up, we'll cull them. So I did the same thing with the yellow squash. We've got some things left over from last year, some onions and chives. I found out during this process that onions are like a 2-season or 2-year project. You have to get them planted, and it takes 2 years before you actually yield onions. But I do have got a lot of chives off of them. They just keep growing up. We just snip them off and use them, and or green onions, I should say. And so we've got some of those. Got some chives back there that my in-laws gave to us, and those are growing up pretty good. Come over this way. We got some garlic in the back there, as you can see. That's another 2-year plant that we found out, so we might get some garlic this year. We'll see. In the front there, those 2 little guys, those are my green peppers. Kind of planted them up front. Last year I didn't get any yield out of my green peppers because I had them over here with my zucchini, and once they started growing, they really just blocked all the sun off of them. So I replanted them, and they started growing pretty well, but it was too late in the season, so they didn't grow up. Time for Cooper to eat. Something new we're doing this year, broccolini. We didn't do that last year, so we're doing that, and we're trying that. The family really loves it, so I thought we'd give it a shot. Sounds like it grows pretty well in this climate. There we got lettuce. We did that last year, doing a little bit different. Same thing. I just threw a bunch of seeds in, and we had like so much like on top of each other, so I lost more, probably more than I was able to harvest just from it growing on top of each other and just killing each other. Cucumbers. I had a stupid story last year. I'd never seen a cucumber plant before, so I planted cucumbers over here once again with the zucchini, not knowing that it needed more room. And I started getting this plant grow where the zucchini was planted. And I was like, wow, that's a weird, I didn't have any idea that cucumbers grew that way. Well, it was just a gigantic weed. And so that weed, I think, kind of sucked a lot of nutrients out of the ground. So I pulled him up, and I had another one before when I was clearing out, growing over here. He didn't make it. You're not going to fool me twice. So I got the cucumbers there. I got a little mound. I'm going to make a little trellis, put it up against the back there, and I'm going to vine them up because they either need to trellis them or you need to have a lot of room for them. And as you can see, my little garden doesn't have that. Over here, I have spinach, which is new this year. We didn't do spinach last year. My tomatoes are on the side wall where I did them in the back corners last year. In that far corner, I got my super steaks, and we got cherries and aromas. We did really well with the cherries and the aromas. I had some growing pains, learning pains, or whatever you want to call it, where I did too much trimming on the wrong leaves for my tomatoes. And so I still had a good harvest, but I think it could have been a lot better than it was had I not cut too much down. So we'll change that this year. We'll have a better harvest. The super steaks were ridiculous last year. Once it took them forever to actually get some fruit out of them, but they were huge. They were awesome. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be, but amazing when they came up. And then down here in front, I got my beans, which I did last year, and they did really well. Same thing. I planted a little bit less of them, so hopefully I'll get a better harvest with fewer plants is my goal. No, I had a couple tomatoes there. All we had were 6-packs, so I don't have enough room for 6 tomato plants. So I'll probably find I have a couple big planters I'm not using, kind of like that guy there. So I'll probably put them in there and get some extra tomatoes. And then we did dill and cilantro last year over here where the yellow squash was. And so we decided to do them a little bit different because we had a pretty good harvest. We had a pretty good harvest with those, so we just did a little bit fewer plants in a little bit smaller area. We just planted them in there. So that's what we're looking at. That's the garden. I mean, as you can tell, we're by no means trying to sustain we're not living off of this. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and I had a little bit of room once we bought the house a little over a year and a half ago. Built a nice raised garden beds, and so it's just nice to have some fresh vegetables. Fun to come out here and mess around with them and plant and really see, give them some time and just have the whole process, and knowing that when you're having a dinner, that the fruits of your labor are what you're eating. So I just really enjoy doing the labor. So that's what we got. Like I said, Sean, Wine Acre Stronghold, April 2021. Put some videos out periodically, just kind of updating and seeing where we're at. So super excited, can't wait, loving the warm weather. And don't forget, at home is where your honey is.